Going on, everyone? Welcome back to the JW Sports Talk Show. Where fans welcome. Unfortunately, it is the last week of the regular season. We are entering week 18. Even though it's the last week, we still have quite a bit going on. Some teams are still vying for better seeding. Some teams are still fighting to win their division. Some teams are fighting just not to be eliminated, winning in like the Denver Broncos, or some teams need help like the Bengals and the Dolphins in the AFC side, or the Falcons looking to win their division, looking for the Bucs to lose, or the Steelers looking to win their division if the Ravens lose. There's a lot going on, so let's get into the matchups. And unfortunately, I don't know why my graphics are not in order here. Like from Saturday games to the Sunday night games, I don't know why they're not in order. I couldn't get them in order. They just will not save in the order I set them in. It is really weird, but all right, we'll just get on with it. So the first game, we do have the Arizona Cardinals. They're favored by 4.5, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers have just been beat up a lot this year, and Brock Purdy has been pretty good. There's only so much that he can do. The team around him is very injured. Offensive line has been great. A lot hasn't been going their way. I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals. They're inconsistent. They lost to the Panthers a couple weeks ago. They're just an inconsistent football team, but I think this is a game where they're going to find a way to win and end the season on a high note. So give me the Arizona Cardinals on this one. Next up, you have the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. I think the Falcons are just going to run wild. They're going to run all over the Panthers, but that 7.5-point line is a little too rich for me, so I'm not going to touch that. It's a little too rich. It's just the Panthers are sneaky. They're not as bad as they look on the surface. I think Bryce Young has actually gotten better, whether it looks like it or not. Paper-wise, stat-wise, I really do think Bryce Young has actually looked a little bit better. I think you give him the right pieces, he's going to get better, man. I think they need to give him another year and put some more pieces around him, and I think Bryce Young can actually be a decent quarterback. But I am taking the Atlanta Falcons to win this football game. So the Falcons will still need the Bucs to lose to the Saints, and the Falcons will win the division, and they will be in the playoffs. So can Michael Penix, can Bijan Robinson take care of business against Carolina? Because first they have to take care of business. They have to beat the Panthers. Panthers are sneaky. They're sneaky dangerous, especially to, the Panthers have nothing to lose. They're going to want to try and take the Falcons every chance away from making the playoffs. So, give me Atlanta, though. They should be able to run the football. They should be able to move the ball pretty well on that defense, especially on the ground. Bijan Robinson and what they have on the ground there, they should have no issue in that department. Therefore, they're winning the game 26-20. Pretty confident in them winning that game. Now, here's a Saturday game. The Ravens at home taking on the Browns. And this game is important, but it's probably not going to be close. It's important because if the Ravens lose this and the Steelers win their game against the Bengals, the Steelers will win the division. The Ravens are going to want to win this so that they can just lock up that division and not have to worry about it. But a 19.5-point spread, that's a lot to me. I think that the Ravens might get up to a certain point, might get up by a decent amount of points, but then put their backups in, take Lamar out, and take some of their starters out. So that's going to make it easier for the Browns to maybe score a touchdown or two and make it a little closer. Therefore, that 19.5-point spread kind of hurting you there. So that's a big spread. I'm pretty sure that's the biggest spread of the season. But give me Baltimore 31-10. I do have them covering, but I really wouldn't put any money on it. It's too much. It's too big of a line, man. Too big of a line. So, but straight up, just give me Baltimore 31-10. They shouldn't have too much of an issue against the Browns. They should lock up that AFC North spot. So, give me Baltimore. All right, the Commanders and the Cowboys. So the Commanders, they should be fine here this weekend. The Cowboys not a good football team, and the Cowboys, I don't think they've won a game at home yet. So the Commanders could beat the Cowboys in the Cowboys Stadium. But I don't think the Cowboys would have won a home regular season game. I think they're the only team in all of sports this year to not win a game at home, which would be crazy. But the Washington Commanders, they're very talented, but a lot more talent. They're a lot more explosive. Only so much the Cowboys can do with the backup quarterback and CeeDee Lamb. So, yeah, give me Washington. They shouldn't have too much of an issue. Playoff implications for Washington is if they lose, the Packers can overtake them if they win. And the Packers are playing the Bears, so the odds of the Packers losing to the Bears are very low. But the odds of the Commanders losing to the Cowboys are very low. So I'm assuming the seeding will stay where it is at. But the Cowboys may want to try and spoil the Commanders a little bit, making the Commanders go to Philadelphia. You know, you really want to go and play Philadelphia the first round of the playoffs. Not too sure. I think the Packers are at what I think the Packers or Commanders can actually give Philly a good fight. But I do think the Packers are a better football team. But regardless, we'll talk about that when we get to the Packers. Give me the Washington Commanders over the Dallas Cowboys, and I think they will cover. I think they could win by at least a touchdown. They should be fine in that category. Jaden Daniels will be able to run the football well. Have that explosive offense going against that Cowboys defense, which is not very good. Commanders should be fine in this game. All right, the Broncos and the Chiefs. This is a game I was excited to talk about. So the Broncos are favored by 10.5 points. That is a lot. I do not touch this game betting at all. I would not. Let me tell you why. The Chiefs' defense is what has kept the Chiefs in every single game this year. And yeah, they are going to have quite a few players sitting. And I can see the Broncos, young players, young team. They are very well coached. I really do like Bo Nix. I think he's awesome. But this game is going to be a lot closer than people think because that defensive scheme is what that defensive scheme is. It's disguisable. It's very difficult to read. He's going to send, Steve Spagnuolo is going to send pressure. He's going to fake it. So is it going to overload Bo Nix regardless of, it's definitely going to be a talent drop off from the defense. But will the Broncos really win by that much? I don't think so. Carson Wentz he's hard to watch. He's not great, but he could have a good game here or there. So will Carson Wentz have a good game out of nowhere? But Pacheco is sitting, they are sitting most of their major players. So it's going to be difficult for the Chiefs to win this football game. I don't think they're going to win, but it's a sneaky game. It's a sneaky game because that defense is what has kept them in games all year long, but at the same time, there are a lot of players sitting, like Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie. They have a lot of people sitting. So that's a big talent drop-off, but the defensive scheme isn't going to change. That's going to remain the same. So how will Bo Nix fare against that? He will be fine. Bo Nix should be fine. And I said the Broncos, I said this game is a lot closer than what a lot of people think, but I do say the Broncos pulled this one out and they clinched their first playoff berth since Peyton Manning. I don't think they've made the playoffs since Peyton Manning and them won the Super Bowl. Yeah, so I went ahead and double checked, and they haven't even appeared in a playoff game since that Super Bowl year. So, Broncos gonna punch their ticket to the playoffs with the big win over the Chiefs. So, I'm taking Denver to win. I do think it's gonna be a lot closer than people think. Regardless of who the players are for the Chiefs, don't forget, they're really well coached. Players step up, but the Broncos will overcome that. The Broncos will win, and on the next game, Lions and the Vikings. So the Sunday night football game. This game should have been the last game talked about, but unfortunately, my graphics I don't know why they won't go in order. I've tried multiple times to put them in the correct order. They just did not. So can't fight with it. Just got to get it done. Lions Vikings. This is going to be a high scoring game, I think. This game could be low scoring, but I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Goff, Darnold, but I do have the Lions taking this one. It's in Detroit. Sunday night football. For the number 1 seed. That crowd. Come on, man. That Lions team is just going to feed off the audience. They're going to feed off their fans. Favored by 3 points. That's a lot. I mean, it's not that it's a lot. It's just that it's going to be a really close game. Both teams are really good. There's a reason why this game is for the number 1 seed in the AFC in the NFC. The Vikings did something a little different last game. They were running a little bit more. They had the Jalen Nair is his name. I mean, they were trying to get the ball to him, so now they have someone else that the Lions have to watch out for him defense, but it's something the Lions won't be able to figure it out. It's something that crowd won't be too loud for. That crowd is going to be wild in Detroit, man. You know, when's the last time the Lions have been hyped up this much? It's I don't think ever. So give me Detroit. They're going to feed off their crowd. They're going to take the win over Minnesota at home on Sunday Night Football. But I mean, I could see the Vikings, the way they switched things up last week, putting a little bit different things on tape. I can see that maybe throwing the Lions off a little bit, but nah. Give me Detroit. They're going to stick to their plan. They're going to run the damn football. And the way Jared Goff has played, he's been incredible. As long as Jared Goff doesn't implode for like 5 interceptions like he did one game, I think it was against the Texans, the Lions should be fine. So give me Detroit 34-31 over Minnesota. Packers, Bears. I mean, do we really have to spend too much time on this game? Packers should be fine. I'm pretty sure they're starting their starters. They want to keep their spot there at number 6. You'd really want to fall down to the 7th seed and play the Eagles in the first round. No. So the Packers are going to play. They're going to play their best, and favored by 10. I think they covered that 10-point spread, even though it's a big spread. The Bears, I don't think they've beaten Matt LaFleur once. I don't think they're on the biggest losing streak in the NFL currently as well. So that doesn't stop here. Neither of those tendencies are broken. Packers keep dominating the Bears. The Bears keep dominating in the losing column. Give me Green Bay 38-13. Colts and Jaguars. Now, here's an interesting one. The Colts are a hot mess, right? And they're not a good football team. The Jaguars aren't a good football team. The Colts somehow imploded last week and let the Giants score 45 points. But this might be Joe Flacco's last game. And I think Joe Flacco might go off. So maybe the Colts score more than this. He's got weapons. He's got JT. He's got a half-decent offensive line. And the Jaguars aren't a great football team, as we all know, probably playing Mac Jones. Colts defense, if the Colts defense can show up, the Colts will probably win. But there's so many distractions going on with the Colts, too, right now, with all the Chris Ballard and, the Anthony Richardson injury. Everything is just going, shit hitting the fan over there. So I could see that being too much of a distraction. Me as a Colts fan myself, I keep forgetting about this game, that we still have one more game to play. That's how bad everything is. But they're favored by 5 points. I think that's too large of a spread. I don't think the Colts win by more than 5 points. If they win this one, they barely win because of how bad that defense is. I mean, don't forget, the Colts made Drew Lock look like an MVP candidate, like an MVP quarterback. He Drew Lock had like 5 touchdowns, 300 plus yards. Drew Lock was incredible. And that's because of how bad the Colts defense is. Colts offense was really good, but I think it'll be just enough versus the Jaguars. But really, it wouldn't shock me with all the distractions going on to see the Jaguars sneak this one out versus the Colts. But the Colts typically do win in Indianapolis against Jacksonville, so give me Indianapolis by 1 point. Could see this one going either way, though. All right, Rams and Seahawks. Rams are resting their starters, and that is why I'm taking the Seahawks by 10. Seahawks, they have some good football players, man. They have some good receivers. Geno Smith is inconsistent. He's not great. I think you get a better. I think you get a little bit better of a quarterback, and I think the Seahawks are a much better football team. Their defense will, is fine, and especially with Jimmy Garoppolo playing. And I don't really think that the Rams are going to be too competitive, offensive-wise. So give me Seattle 26-16 over the Rams. Chargers, Raiders. I don't think the Chargers are going to rest their starters. They want to keep their spot. I don't think they can move up, but they want to keep their spot at number 6 instead of having to go and play Buffalo. or no, I think the Chargers actually win the tiebreaker over the Broncos, but they lose it to the Steelers because they lost to the Steelers at the beginning of the year, regardless if the Steelers win or lose. Or if the Steelers lose, because the Steelers win, they'll have a whole nother win. But, so yeah, I'm pretty sure the Chargers are just stuck at number 6. So yeah, maybe there's not too much reason to play your starters, but I think they are playing. I think they will be. If they do, they probably won't play the whole game. They maybe will just play a half just to keep them from being rusty, just to keep them from getting that from not playing at all. At least having some game in there. But the Raiders, one of the worst teams in football. Even if the Chargers play some of their backups, their Chargers are still so well coached. They still have their defense still will be fine because the Raiders don't really have much on offense other than Brock Bowers. So yeah, give me the Chargers 31-6, man. It may seem a little excessive, but the Chargers are a damn good football team, and they should have no issues with the Raiders in this one. Bills and Patriots. Once again, the Bills cannot drop a spot, and they cannot get the number 1 seed. So they're gonna sit their starters. I did think I heard correctly that Josh Allen is gonna be beginning the game, but Mitchell Trubisky will be playing majority of the game. I think Josh Allen has like a starting streak going, so they don't want to end that. So Allen will start. Will he play, a couple plays, a drive, or whatever it is? But I still think that the Bills have so many weapons, even if some of their top weapons won't play. The Bills still have so many weapons. They have a plethora of running backs to make plays, tight ends, receivers, and the offensive line will still probably be fine. And I think this is going to lead to another imploding by the New England Patriots. Them losing this game to some of the Bills' backups. Losing this game to some of the Bills' backups, it's going to create some extra controversy if there wasn't enough already. I do not think that the Patriots are going to want to move on yet, though. But if the Patriots lose this game, they might want to a little earlier than maybe we thought. Than maybe a lot of people thought, or they thought themselves. But yeah, give me Buffalo. I still think that they find a way. But this game will probably be close, especially with Buffalo starters not playing. So yeah, give me Buffalo, but I could see the Patriots winning because, like I said, Bills are resting their starters. There's no reason for them to play any of their starters, but still very well coached. Or still outmatched in that way of the game. So yeah, I'm still taking Buffalo even with their backups, resting their starters. All right, you got the Dolphins and the Jets. This game, pretty sure Tua is not playing, so that's not good. But they were able to do enough last week, and I think they're going to be able to do enough this week as well. I mean, the Jets defense not good, Jets offense very lackluster, but the Dolphins still do have a couple weapons. They could the offensive line isn't really great, but I would like to see the Dolphins to put together some consistent drives, but with how bad the offensive line is, and the Dolphins defense isn't very good at all either. So maybe 6 points is not enough for the Jets, but I'm taking the Dolphins to beat the Jets this weekend. Give me the Dolphins 26-16. Favored by 6.5. If I have them winning by 10 here, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I have Miami winning this one, taking this one home, ending the season on a high note. Now the Dolphins, they do need the Steelers to beat the Bengals, and they need the Broncos to lose to the Chiefs. I believe if those two things happen, they will make the playoffs. Okay, so no, actually, all the Dolphins need are so the Chiefs beat the Broncos, and then the Dolphins have to win, and then they can simply make it. It doesn't matter what happens in the Steelers and Bengals game. So interesting. Dolphins win, and the Broncos lose to the Chiefs. They can make it. They can still make it. They're still in it. Eagles and Giants. Yeah, this one's not going to be too close, man. The Eagles are sitting a lot of their starters, so it's kind of why I have to score a little closer than if the starters were playing. So, because the Eagles can't get the first seed no matter what. Even if the Vikings and the Lions tie, they still can't make it. So, yeah, they're sitting their starters, and they're gonna be stuck at 2 because they can't move down a spot. Rams are too far behind. Um, but yeah, the Eagles, even with their backups, they still will probably be able to run the football. They still will be able to play some good football. The Giants use up all their offensive power, their firepower versus the Colts, and they put up 45 on them. So, yeah, even though the Eagles still have their backups in, still are better coached. They still have a lot of talent, so they should have no issues against the Giants. Steelers and Bengals. This is the other side of that game. See how far apart they were. Like my graphics would not stay organized. How many times I clicked save after I changed the order? It would not save. It was so weird. But Steelers and Bengals. I thought this was a tough game to predict, but I took the Bengals because they're hot. The Bengals are hot, and the Steelers are quite the opposite. The Steelers lost the last few in a row, and the Bengals have won, 5 in a row? But I just think that Joe Burrow is playing at such a high level. Jamar Chase is playing at such a high level that Steelers defense, it's good. They're going to get a lot of pressure on Burrow. But issue is Burrow's going to be able to get the ball out quick to his weapons. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. He's got some really strong weapons, man. So it's going to be hard to stop regardless of, because of how talented Burrow and the rest of the weapons are. It's going to be tough for that defense to slow them down. And that offense is going to have to eventually put up points. And they've struggled to do that the last couple of weeks. And at some point, the defense is going to get tired, and the Bengals are going to start putting up too many points for them to catch up. But I do have the Eagles. Wrong PA team. I still have the Steelers keeping it close, but I do think that the Bengals are going to win this game just because they have a little more offense, a little more firepower, and I think that's going to be the difference. Even though that Bengals defense isn't very good, really anything other than Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, the rest of that team is pretty tough. Is not very good. Those 3 alone are enough on offense to put up a pretty good game and put up a little more points than the Steelers because the Steelers' offense is a little inconsistent, but maybe because they're playing such a bad defense on the Bengals, we'll see. We'll see if the Steelers' offense can kick it up a notch, but I don't think they will be able to. Give me Cincinnati 27-24, and Cincinnati giving themselves a shot to make the playoffs, although they still need, if Cincinnati wins now, they need the Broncos to lose, and they need the Dolphins to lose, and then the Bengals will make it. But then, even if they make it, they still have to travel to Buffalo to play the Bills, and they won't beat the Bills. The Bills are too much of a complete football team. Although you never know, it's the NFL, crazy things happen. I still don't think that the Bengals could hang with the Bills. The Bills are too complete. Josh Allen is on a whole nother level. Burrow is too, but Allen actually has a complete team around him, and he's got a strong supporting cast on top of him being as good as he is. So, that would be a tough matchup, but. On to the next game. 2 more games left. No, 1 more game after this one. Bucs and Saints. The Saints, they're so beat up. They haven't played good. Bucs are favored by 13.5. Do the Bucs win by 14 points? I think so. The Bucs do need to win this game because the Falcons are playing the Panthers. The Panthers are sneaky. And the Bucs should win this game. Bucky Irving and their running game should be enough really on its own to beat the Saints here, but don't want to take any chances. You want to beat the Saints, take care of business. You win and you're in. Because if you win and the Falcons win, you still make it. But if you lose, the Falcons win, then the Falcons can overtake you. And, that won't be good. Then you'll miss. But I do have Tampa Bay taking it 30-11. Favored by 13.5, that is a lot, but they should win by that much, honestly, for how bad the Saints are and Baker Mayfield and, the way Baker Mayfield plays. Bucs are a decent football team, so they should win by 13.5 or more. They should win by at least 14 points, in my opinion. Texans and Titans. Texans, I don't think they are sitting their starters. Yeah, I believe their starters are playing. D'Amico Ryan said, I think I remember seeing a presser where he was saying that everyone is going to play. I mean, everyone should play. They are on a 2-game skid, on a 2-game losing skid, which you don't want to go into the playoffs on a losing streak. So if you could at least get a win going into playoffs and get some kind of positive momentum, that will be good. So with the starters playing, I do think the Texans beat the Titans. The Titans are a mess. Texans shouldn't have too much of an issue with the Titans. So I'm taking Houston. I don't think this one's too difficult to predict. Texans, Joe Mixon and co there, they should have zero issues taking care of the Titans. Titans, they are traveling to Tennessee, and I do believe the Titans are actually wearing the Oilers uniform, so that will be interesting. But it doesn't really matter if the Texans even lose because they can't lose a division, and nor could they bump up to the 3rd or 2nd seed. The Ravens are too far ahead, and the Bills are too far ahead. So that's not happening. So give me Houston, though. C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, Joe Mixon. That's a nice trio right there. They're going to get the job done. And the Texans' defense is good enough. So give me Houston. Yeah, I don't know why the Titans are favored by 2 points. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, give me Houston. And those are my predictions for the final week. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm looking forward to the offseason, looking forward to postseason first, of course. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but do with the draft, free agency period, draft season. Black Monday is coming up, so that's going to be a fun time, especially with the Colts. I mean, they have a lot going on. A lot of teams it's going to be a crazy offseason. There's going to be a lot of moving parts this offseason, so I'm excited for that. A lot of change. I want the NFL to be as competitive as possible, but we all know how it is. Good teams are going to be good teams, bad teams are going to be bad teams. And they all like that for a reason. The way they run from the top to the bottom. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to be a good football team in the National Football League. So, thank you guys for tuning into the JW Sports Talk Show. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, put that post notification bell on so you do not miss any future videos. This is the JDW Sports Talk Show. Signing off. I will catch you next time.